server, but I did not announce it in the community tab. Okay, so I feel like people are still...
I just got a notification that you're live.
Yay. I think people are still responding to the poll from yesterday, so I didn't want to interrupt that.
I didn't get a poll.
You didn't get the poll?
I didn't get
It's the poll. You read it yesterday.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't participate.
How could you?
To be fair, I don't go on YouTube too often. Where'd you get that from?
You bought it.
Oh, I did. Easter. I like the blue better.
That's so good.
Anyway. Oh, it hit me. Okay.
That was a good reaction.
It really
Okay.
was.
So, basically, what I'm doing. So, I'm not sure if we're going to talk about the Bible the whole time because Em doesn't really know the Bible
At all.
So, I suppose it wasn't a misleading title because we are Pagan and Agnostic talking about the Bible, but I feel like I'm going to end up doing most of the talking.
I can react.
You can react, and that's kind of what I'm going for. So, part of one of my assignments for class is to read this particular pericope in a public space. So, like, not public, but like performing it in a way that other people can hear and seeing how people, or not necessarily people hearing, but like, as opposed to just sitting down and like reading the Bible, like actually reading it out loud somewhere that's not your home and seeing how it feels. So it's mostly just like what am I feeling in this moment? And also, how do people respond? So feel free to share your thoughts. I'm going to be reading Philippians 4, 1 through 13. And she's going to be reacting. And I'm going to read. Okay. I also later on want to talk about something that I'm actually really, really interested in because there's a passage in the Bible that I've never read before and I'm actually like really, really excited about it. So there's that. All right. Anyway, Philippians 4. Therefore, my brothers and sisters, whom I love and long for, my joy and crown, stand firm in the Lord in this way, my beloved. I urge Euodia and I urge Syntyche to be of the same mind in the Lord. Yes, and I ask you also, my loyal companion, help these women, for they have struggled beside me in the work of the gospel, together with Clement and the rest of my co-workers, whose names are in the book of life. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again I will say, rejoice. Let your gentleness be known to everyone. The Lord is near. Do not worry about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, beloved, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence and if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Keep on doing the things that you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, and the God of peace will be with you. I rejoice in the Lord greatly that now at last you have revived your concern for me. Indeed, you were concerned for me, but had no opportunity to show it. Not that I am referring to being in need, for I have learned to be content with whatever I have. I know what it is to have little, and I know what it is to have plenty. In any and all circumstances, I have learned the secret of being well fed and of going hungry, of having plenty and of being in need. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. You have a face, and I'm curious to know what your thoughts are.
I would have to read it. Honestly, I comprehend better reading.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't do that before the live stream because I didn't know what we were doing. I had a vague idea. I knew we were doing stuff with the Bible, but I didn't know what, so I did not prepare.
There are thoughts there.
There are thoughts. There are thoughts in my head, and
Go for it.
where did you start?
Up here.
Syntyche.
Okay, honestly, Syntyche sounds like a name from Greek mythology.
It's really pretty name, but
It's such a pretty name. So many Y's. I like Y might be my favorite letter, either X or Y. And
good.
I don't know, it's just pretty. Hey, Kayla.
So why are these women being helped?
Eudia, I think it's Eudia and Syntyche are early church mothers, basically. And so they are doing the thing of spreading the word and helping out, set up churches and whatnot. And so it's written to the Philippians. Oh no, I urge Judea and I urge Syntyche to be of the same mind in the Lord. So like, he has this I really feel like Paul has such a complex of wanting other people to be like him because he thinks he's like the supreme epitome of all that is good. Like, he has an ego. And so it kind of feels like, make sure you think about all this stuff in the same way that I do. I don't know. That's kind of how I took it. And then asking the companion, does it say who the companion is in the footnotes? Okay. Syzygus. Syzygus. Help them doing their thing and being good folks. I want to know what your reaction to this passage is because I have strong opinions, but I don't want to influence yours. And I feel like you have thoughts, and I don't want to get in the way of that.
Okay, you talk while I read.
That defeats the purpose.
No, I need to read.
Okay, fine.
You talk about other things while I read. Oh yeah, I need this.
It's so good.
Okay. Brain
I like these things. So we have the Warheads Super Sour Spray Candy.
Question.
Yeah.
Let your gentleness be known to everyone. Is that God's gentleness? Because I do have feelings about that. Or is that
I think it's the people's gentleness.
Okay. I don't know much about the people's.
I used to know more about the specific Philippians context. Huh?
And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Jesus Christ. Or Christ Jesus.
I feel like you have some feelings about that.
There's some things that I have learned about God that I didn't know. Suspected.
Is that my fault? Is that my fault?
Yes. Suspected but didn't know. And that's mostly that he is a dick. No offense. He was not a nice guy. And I'm pretty sure if he were human and living in the modern day era, he would be in jail for a while. So, yeah.
So, I think it's worth noting there that when it says the peace of God, it doesn't necessarily mean that God is
under me. Something is under me. It's what?
The hell? Oh, that's weird. Okay.
Oh, I got a little tracker from my time in the hospital. Good memories. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's not necessarily saying that God is peaceful, but saying that God gives people peace if they follow him and like do what he says. Which I would argue, like, there are a lot of people who have had that experience where it's like they have felt the peace of God, but that peace of God is not extended to everyone, at least not throughout the Bible. There are definitely people who are...
Or history.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and explain this, and I will chime in when I know what you're talking about.
You're doing such a good job.
I was not.
You were too.
Okay. Blah.
So one thing I'll go ahead and say is in the essay that I wrote, or the exegesis that I wrote, such a fun word. The study of religion has some fun words. I was really somewhat bothered by the do not worry about anything, but in prayer, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your request be made known to God. Like this whole like do not worry about anything. Like I've heard that leveled against people with anxiety or paranoia or intrusive thoughts, or it's like don't worry about everything, don't worry about anything. You're fine. God's got you. And it's like, that's profoundly unhelpful in the moment. Like, I will say that for some people it's helpful.
Yeah.
For some people they're like, oh yeah, Jesus has me. Great. But like, that's not how a lot of people feel. Like, I know me, I'm like, wow, you're minimizing my problems. No. I need meds or I need something. Like, I don't know. So that's something that I had a strong reaction to. And it doesn't have to mean that. It literally can just mean like, hey, whenever you're feeling anxious, pray about it. Which I have mixed feelings about prescribing prayer as a solution to mental health issues, but it can help.
See, I can see it in a form of like self-soothing.
Yes.
Like where just like airing your grievances and what's bothering you and like trying to seal yourself and get that help, whether or not it's from a deity, can be cathartic, and I can understand that. But I don't think I think it can be cathartic. And I see how like praying could help.
Mm-hmm. But like for me, it's a matter of like, there's a difference between saying, hey, have you considered this as part of your plan to alleviate what you're going through, as opposed to, this is the answer.
Yeah. It was wet.
What?
It was wet. Yeah. I don't think if you like, I'm not really one for thinking that if you like ask, I don't want to be, so for those of you who are religious, I don't want to step on toes, but ironically, I don't think that like a being in a realm that we cannot see is going to be like, yes, this human, they are thinking these thoughts, and I'll help them out of the goodness of my heart, despite killing billions of people for my own purposes. This human in particular. I don't know. I'm gonna shut up.
No, it's a fair perspective.
There's a lot. How many tracks of mind do you have to have in order to keep up with millions of Christians?
Billions. There's about 2 billion Christians in the world.
Billions of Christians and other people that worship that God.
The Abrahamic deity, yeah.
I knew it started with an A. So like, how many tracks of thought do you have to keep up with over 2 billion humans and answer their problems, each one?
And also there's this sense of like, somewhere else in the Bible, I think it's in 1 Thessalonians, it says pray without ceasing. And so it's this sense of like, it's not just a matter of like when, it's not necessarily just like when I need God, that's when you're supposed to pray. It's supposed to be like constantly. Like, not, it's like, because technically speaking, prayer is talking to the divine or your perception of the divine. And so there's supposed to be this sense of like, wow, look at that sunrise. Thank you, God. That's beautiful. Wow, I got here safely. Thank you so much. Like, that's like a constant Please help us get to our location. Bless this food. Like a constant like dialogue, or depending on who you ask, monologue with the divine. And so, I don't know. It's like, it makes a lot, in my opinion, I'm a polytheist. So to me, it makes a lot more sense, the idea of like, not necessarily like constant prayer, but like when you have multiple deities helping different people with different things, it makes sense then, because you can delegate tasks to other gods if you're super busy, or like there's like a system in place there. But like, I don't. You right?
Yes, trying not to sneeze.
But
okay.
I don't know. Having one deity that's supposed to like respond to everyone seems like a bit much. So I agree with you there. Especially since like,
Constant.
and also like when you think about it, like, it's not uncommon for certain prayers to be against other people who may also be praying.
Yeah.
So it's like, when you think about it, like, okay, let's say that Wake Forest, which is my school, is playing Radford, which is your school.
But my school doesn't have a football team.
Basketball.
I think we have basketball.
And so, if I prayed that Wake Forest wins, and you pray that Radford wins, one of us is going to have our prayers not answered. Or actually, more specifically, to use Christian reasoning, one of us is going to have our prayer answered, and the answer is going to be no. And it's like, does God pick sides? Does God pick favorites? Is that a godly thing to do? Like, how does that work?
Like, if you have separate gods, like if you believe in one god, I believe in another.
I was waiting to see which one you'd come up with.
I was like, oh, well, I almost said the question god, and I was like, what?
No.
Yeah, there's.
I mean, technically speaking, I do believe in him. It's just a really strange relationship.
Ow! I just got shot in the face. But I did it. I've been. Okay. Anyway, so if you have two different gods, two people, two different gods, do the deities like just have a conference in the middle of all their other prayer answering? They sit down with like a billion other gods and be like, okay, I'll answer this one. You answer that one. We need to get a god in here. We need to get a god in here to answer these questions.
Bold of you to assume that I am not. No, I'm totally, oh my god. So totally joking.
I love you, but the image of you is a god.
Could you imagine me like having to make a decision? Like a divine decision? I can't make decisions to save my life. Oh my goodness, I can just imagine myself living like you as my divine consort. I'd be like, babe.
And I'd be like,
Should I don't know, what decisions do gods make? Should I back this nation or this nation in this war? Like, how? Like,
who has given me the most praise? What if God is just a corporation? It's a corporation!
I feel like that's an episode of Black Mirror.
I'd watch it. Ah! Right on the tip of the tongue. Spray it on the tip of your tongue.
Like this way or like this way?
more.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay.
I want more. Oh, I almost sprayed it in my face.
But yeah, the other part of this pericope I talked about in the paper was Philippians 4:13, which is I can do all things through him who strengthens me, and there's also this kind of sense of like, no, like, you know,
God's gonna make me swole. These chicken wings, mostly fat.
but I don't know. It's a nice positive verse. You did it to yourself.
I did. Oh, it's so good though. But
But yeah, I don't know. You want to move on to the other pericope?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. This one is from the Old Testament.
Pericope.
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 Go.
Pericope.
Precocious.
Precocious pericopes. What verse is it? Proverbs. So this one is especially interesting to me because I am pagan. But I don't want to say too much. This is Proverbs 8, starting with verse 22 and going to the end. The Lord created me at the beginning of his work, the first of his acts long ago. Ages ago I was set up at the first, before the beginning of the earth. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no springs abounding with water. Before the mountains had been shaped, before the hills, I was brought forth. When he had not yet made earth and fields, or the world's first bits of soil. When he established the heavens, I was there. When he drew a circle on the face of the deep. When he made firm the skies above, when he established the fountains of the deep. When he assigned the sea to its limit, so that the water might not transgress his command. When he marked out the foundations of the earth, then I was beside him like a master worker, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing before him always, rejoicing in his inhabited world and delighting in the human race. And now, my children, listen to me. Happy are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not neglect it. Happy is the one who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting beside my doors. For whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord. But those who miss me injure themselves. All who hate me love death.
I like that last line. That's intense.
Yeah.
Just like step on me words.
So what are your immediate thoughts? What?
I'm trying not to cough. May I?
Yeah.
Where you start?
All right, here.
I heard 2 through the end, not 22, and I was like, it's over here. Okay. So, is this you talked previously about how there was a goddess, a potential goddess that was created. Is this her words? Are these her words?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the Lord created me at the beginning of his work.
Okay. I like her. She can visit me anytime.
Oh.
Wisdom, if you're out there, hit me up. Okay. I don't know. I really like. I have no thoughts, only empty. Here you go.
Dang.
Speak your pieces.
So yeah, I'm personally of the impression that it seems like this passage is talking about a goddess. Like, it gives me very vibes that are somewhat similar to Athena, especially since Athena is the goddess of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm watching us in the little preview.
oh, I know, it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
But also,
I'm watching us. Inception.
but if I'm not mistaken, Athena was technically kind of sorta created by Zeus. If I'm not mistaken, she sprang forth from Zeus's forehead. Although if anyone knows more about Zeus or Athena, please correct me on that. That's just something that I'm pretty sure is the case. And there's kind of this sense of like, I think a lot of Christians in particular, well, Jewish people and Christians, but I don't want to speak for Jewish people because at no point in my life have I been Jewish, but I have most definitely been Christian. And I feel like as part of monotheism, there's kind of this sense of like, oh, well, if something is created, then it can't be a deity, which is not the case in other religions. Like, gods are born, gods die, gods go down to the underworld. Sometimes gods are reborn as other gods. Like,
Katie Stan.
gods aren't like gods don't have to be an uncreated static entity. And so I'm reading this and I'm like, this sounds like a goddess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I'm partially because I'm coming at it from a polytheistic perspective, but like, I get goddess vibes. And then this is imagery of when he marked out the foundations of the earth, there I was beside him like a master worker, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing before him always. There's kind of this sense of like she was there at the beginning, creating the world alongside him, God, Yahweh, and so that's, I think, the deity. I don't know. I think it's interesting, and I'm kind of looking forward to writing this paper. It's 10 pages though, so I'm not looking forward to the length of it.
So I have another question.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are a whole bunch of gods, right?
In my opinion, yes.
Okay, so why is the Abrahamic deity so badly wanting to be the only one?
I mean, it depends.
I mean, like, why, like...
In my opinion, it's kind of an ego thing.
Yeah, that's...
Like, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have very high opinions of Yahweh's ego, personally. But that's just kind of where I'm coming from. It's like, it almost seems... So, I know that a lot of the Old Testament isn't actually monotheistic, it's henotheistic, which is basically the belief that there are multiple gods, but you're only supposed to worship one.
Mm-hmm.
And for the Israelites, that would have been Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
And so every nation had their own gods. And whichever god was victorious in battle, that they were said to be the strongest god. And so I feel like there's got to be some link between look at me, I am mighty, I conquer the other gods, to look at me, I am the only one who deserves to be called God, to behold, look at me, I am the only God. And I feel like there's a pretty clear link between those stages of thinking.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, that's kind of what I'm putting together, personally. But that's just me, though. I literally came into this planning to only read 2 pericopes, and now I'm racking my brain to see if there are any others that I want to talk about, or if I want food.
I don't even want food. I want a drink. I am so thirsty.
We do have water.
Gross. Water's not bad. Drink your water. But
I'm also overdue for meds.
it doesn't hit the same.
See, sometimes nothing hits quite as good as water. I'm sorry.
Sometimes, but right now I have my heart and my taste buds set on a lemon berry slush from Sonic. My heart is there. Y'all, okay, 2 drinks at Sonic came up to almost $22 because of the delivery, taxes, and that's not even including a tip. $22.
Oh, that's not including a tip?
For $2. Yes, for 2 drinks.
Oh, Lord.
Not including a tip. That's ridiculous. 2 drinks. I didn't even put food. Okay, I'm done. I'm
Yeah, that's a mood. It's a mood. I hate that we missed happy hour. Because drinks are so much less expensive during happy hour. You can get a Route 44 lemon berry slush for like $2. But happy hour is from 2 to 5.
Yeah, it's a little bit past that.
And you...
Don't say it! Don't say it. Do not embarrass me in front of the world. I have very bad sleeping habits. I'm not going to go any further than that.
But I love you.
I hope so. And I love you too.
So, I think you, my dearest love, my dearest fiance, should show off your ring.
It's not on my finger. It's still in the bathroom.
I know.
Oh, no. Hold on. I will return.
So, oh my. So a while back, M proposed to me. That was in February. And so this is my ring. And I'm personally of the opinion that everyone should be proposed to. Also, I really like the fact that it really feels like a subversion of typical heterosexual norms where the man proposes to the woman, because we're both women, and so...
I am obviously the man in this relationship.
I'm not arguing with that fact at all.
I am the dude.
The doodliest dude, the manliest man.
I just happen to have very femme-presenting ways.
But
Halftime guy.
I proposed to M last week.
Yeah. It's so pretty.
So, do you want to tell the story?
Nope, I'm not good at stories.
You tell the story, I'll add.
Oh no, okay. So, I had been in the hospital for about a week prior to this, and I'm going to back up even further. My Christmas present from this lovely lady was 4 coupons. One was for a trip to the aquarium, one for a trip to a zoo, the beach. What was the last one?
Art museum.
And a museum. That was in my head. So we already used the aquarium one, which was really pretty and fun, and I have pictures of it somewhere on my phone. But so because I was in the hospital and it had been a really, really crappy month, I have a kind of chronic illness, and it decided to act up in a big way, and so a lot of stuff happened. Anyway, ended up in the hospital for a week, for testing, and because it had been such a crap month, I was like, I really want to go to the zoo. We've been putting it off because, from Maddie's excuse, it wasn't warm enough for the snake exhibits. And if you have been on any live streams with me, you know that I really love snakes. They're my favorite. So that was the excuse. So we get everything set up. We are ready. We're gonna go to this zoo, and they're sold out. They are sold out until the next Monday, or until Monday. So I was very sad and started looking at other zoos that were nearby because I am going to find the serotonin. So we find the zoo, and I show her the website. I'm like, look at this place. It looks great. It's like only $1 more than the one we were originally gonna go to. We could do it. It's got like indoors, outdoors. There's air conditioning, food. You know, it looks like a good place. So Maddie sits there with my phone for like an hour.
Okay, at some point in time, you sent me the link and I looked on my own, so I didn't steal your phone for that long.
It felt like that long. Anyway. So we decided to go. And I got to be wheeled around everywhere. But she was like, where do you want to go first? We can go this way, like the museum and zoo area, or we can go this way to the aquarium. And I was like, well, let's go to the aquarium. So we did. Hi!
Thank you.
So we go to the aquarium, and there's sharks, and there are people in the tanks, like scrubbing at the little reefs and the decorations and stuff. And I really want to work in in animal care, specifically at a zoo. So that was really cool, and I liked it. So we continue on. There's this little fishing cat, and that's cute. And we move on, otters, and we get to the penguins. And you can take it over.
All right, so we waited in front of the penguins for forever. There were these groups in front of us, and they refused to move.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting here in a wheelchair. There's like, I can't see anything.
So eventually the group moved, and I moved right next to the exhibit, and I leaned over to her and I said, fun fact, did you know that penguins mate for life? And she was like, no, I didn't know that. And I said, did you know that I'm trying to do the same thing? And so I got down on one knee and I proposed.
Keep in mind, her down on one knee is still taller than me. It was a cute attempt. But no, it was adorable. And there was more that you said.
Yes.
You said a lot.
Yes.
Like, there was more than that. And I
but
don't remember it.
For you.
Anyway, and yeah, it was nice.
But yeah, and then I told her, so I then revealed that I created a playlist for our ride there. And I just told her, I'm really excited. I was inspired to create a playlist. I hope you like it. And so after I proposed to her, I told her, I said, hey, by the way, I want to let you know that the first letter of every song spells out, will you marry me, Emily? And so, yeah. And then we went around the zoo, the aquarium, and then we went to the zoo, and then we went to the museum, then we went to the snake exhibit, and we got lunch, and we went to the dinosaur exhibit, and it was just a really, really cool place.
The snakes. Guys, if you ever have the opportunity to see like a diamondback rattlesnake in an exhibit, I wouldn't suggest sticking around in the wild. They're so pretty. They are gorgeous. Rattlesnakes in general, just like the face, they have.
Thank you, Miss Naomi, on the Mazel Tov. I think, I have mixed feelings about the big ego versus divine intelligence, and I totally understand where you're coming from because, like, I personally believe that the gods, being a polytheistic pagan, I believe that the gods have more intelligence than humans. Like, I'm sorry if we're smarter than a god, that's scary. Like, I don't necessarily, I really don't want to live in a world where the gods are unintelligent. So I understand the argument from divine intelligence. For me, the ego, in my opinion, comes more from this sense of, like, again, having been raised Christian, not Jewish, within Christianity, a lot of sects of Christianity, there's this sense of God saying, I want everyone to follow me. I'm the only God. I am supreme. I am this, that, and the other. And it's like, that strikes me as egoistic, in my personal opinion, just because, like, I don't know, that's just kind of where I'm coming from. I don't know. But totally thank you for sharing your thoughts and opinions because I really, really value that. And I think it's also so important for me to remember that, like, this deity who I grew up worshiping is worshipped by members of other religions. And those adherents of other religions have completely different experiences with the divine than I have. And so I say it all the time, I how do I phrase this? Clearly, I don't actually say it all the time. I don't know why I said that. But, like, I wrote a whole poem. I read it in the last live stream, I think. Either the last live stream or the live stream before that, where I talked about how, like, my experience with the divine, well, the Abrahamic deity in particular, is very different than the experiences that most Christians, Muslims, and Jewish people have had with that deity. And so, like, I remember this was actually inspired by, we had a class discussion on the book of Hosea, which I had very strong feelings about. And one of my friends shared this song that she liked, which was entitled God is Not Abusive, despite the fact that the Bible sometimes portrays him in that light, in my opinion. And so as I was listening to the song, I'm like, I'm glad that other people haven't had abusive relationships with that God, but I have. And so, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with this line of thought. I think it's important because, like, I was really kind of, like, not upset, but it was kind of like well, I don't know. I have had negative experiences. And so I think that in my own processing my negative experiences, it's really important for me to recognize that people have had positive relationships. People do presently have positive relationships. People have had their lives changed by their relationship with this deity. And while I have too, although in a negative way, but, like, there's a lot of potential for good, and I don't want to overlook that. So yeah, thank you for sharing.
People are interesting.
Where did that come from?
Notifications on my phone.
yeah, I feel like that's a good place to end on. Respect people's experiences, listen to people's experiences, learn from people's experiences, grow from your own experiences, and be good people. Be nice people. Be loving people.
Keep an open mind.
Keep an open mind. Always be willing to learn. Always be willing to grow. Always assume the best in people. Always imagine people complexly. People aren't simple. People are complex.
I can't always say imagine the best in people, because while you should imagine the best, like, try to picture that some people aren't the best. It's good as a general rule to always approach people as if they have not. I'm gonna shut up because I'm keep losing my train of thought. Basically, not everyone is good, but try not to assume until you have reason to believe that.
Mm-hmm. For me, it's more assume that everyone has the potential for good. I think that oftentimes we have a habit of writing people off and saying, oh, well, they messed up this one time. They're fundamentally flawed. Or, oh, they made this one mistake. They can never redeem themselves. And, like, this might be the Christian upbringing in me speaking, but I do think that everyone is redeemable. I do think that everyone can have a redemption arc. That doesn't mean that it should be a half-assed redemption arc. Like, sometimes some redemption arcs in TV shows, I'm like, you really want me to believe that they're a good person now? Just like, sometimes you have more to prove, but like, I don't know. As someone who wasn't always the nicest, kindest, best person, I like to think that I've grown a lot. And if people had written me off based on some of the things I used to do and be, then I think that people would, I don't know. I think it's important to always allow people to grow, because people can always change.
I'm just pessimistic. Like, once you cross a line, I've kind of, no. And it takes a while to cross that line. It's not going to be like, oh, you ticked me off once or twice, or even like 5 times. I don't care. That's not gonna like put you over. It's like, if you do something to purposely hurt someone, do not apologize and continue to do that. You are off my list. You are gone.
Oh no, apologizing and continuing to do something is not redemption.
Yeah. You do not get a redemption.
No.
You do not get the potential for redemption.
The thing is,
years in the future, maybe.
In order for redemption to take place, there has to be a clear decision to say, that's in the past, and I will not be engaging in those behaviors. I will not be engaging in those actions again. I'm going to do my best to become a new person.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're actively trying to become a new person, I think that's when the redemption arc starts.
I still can't say I'd allow him back in my life.
No, and I think that's totally permissible.
I thought you were going to say promiscuous someone.
No. I think that's totally permissible, because the people who you hurt are not obligated to forgive you.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are an inherently bad person, especially if they're actively trying to be better, to be good. I don't know. That's just where I come from. But I also think I think we've talked about this before. I think I tend to be a little bit more forgiving.
Just a little bit.
Possibly too forgiving, depending on who you ask.
Just a little bit. Y'all, not saying any of you do this. Don't take advantage of your friends or anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like for me too. Like, I remind myself, like, these people don't have to be in your life. They're there because they want to be. And you gotta appreciate them and love them and be good.
So, I don't know if this is my thought or another altar's thought. Yeah. But I thought it was really insightful, and I want to share it. I don't think it's mine because it's a little bit too optimistic for me. But it's basically, you know, when it comes to the things you have and the people you love, treat everyone and everything as a blessing.
I don't think I know said altar, but I think I know who you're talking. It might be.
I don't, so please tell me.
You said that.
It's different on the tip of your tongue.
Okay. So we have discussed previously about different religions in like within DID systems and OSDD systems. And so one of the reasons that this was brought up was because there is very possibly a an altar within you or within the body that is Christian. And so like I've heard of them several times. I think it's a her, but I'm not sure. And it sounds like something they would say, however, I am not positive. It could be anyone. However, if they would like to tell me whether I'm right or wrong, feel free.
I got nothing.
It's okay. One day, we will get answers.
Is this an altar you've met?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, no. It's purely spectacular. It hit the back of my throat.
Ooh.
That little dangly thing.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I feel like the three songs the two of us get stuck in our head most often are WAP, Slumber Party by Agnostic, and Montero. And I feel like that says a lot about us as people and as a couple.
They're good songs. Some of them, depending on your taste in music. But I feel the gay radiating off of those songs.
Mm-hmm. You literally can't not feel the gay radiating off Slumber Party.
It's very... It's very queer, specifically in related to I just blanked.
It's a song about sapphic love. It's a song about sapphic lust, I should say. For those of you who haven't heard the songs, the first two lines are, "I'm not shy, I'll say it, I've been picturing you naked." So yeah, it's very explicit. It's very... But at the same time, like...
It's catchy.
Mm-hmm. And like, old me would have been like, no, that's too far. You can't just say things like that. But at the same time, I'm getting to the point where I'm almost like, why not? Like, it's about...
I mean, if, like, there are so many male artists that do the exact same thing, I'm like, it's time for us. Like,
Mm-hmm.
give me more explicit songs about female lust.
I think the thing for me is I tend to like more poetic things, typically speaking. Not always. But, like, I personally like those songs where you're listening to it and then it's like, oh, that's what you're saying. Like, where it takes a little bit, where you have to think about it, where you have to sit with it, where you really have to, like, I don't know.
None of the songs that we mentioned, those 3 songs, are like that.
No, they're not.
Catch Me, though.
Well,
Catch Me on that pole.
Montero.
Can be.
Montero, hold on, I'm pulling up the lyrics. So I feel like there are definitely some moments where I'm like, wow, that's pretty profound. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Let's see. I'm not phased, only here to sin. If Eve ain't in your garden, you know that you can. Call me when you want. Call me when you. I don't know.
It's a bad booty call.
Oh yeah, totally. No, it's pretty straightforward. The music video is art. It's just so good.
I love it.
Mm.
Yeah, it's out. It's out.
But yeah. What are some good poetic songs that have come out recently? Or not recently? Same. I'm drawing blanks. Maybe that's just a sign I need to write one.
Go for it.
Poetic songs about sex. I'll be too embarrassed to read out loud. But nope, now I need to focus on writing the songs about trauma. What you doing?
I was wondering how long my hair was in the back.
Oh, this is my hair in the back. You can't see it.
Gets to the tip of your front hair. Oh, there you go.
I want to get food.
I want to get drinks.
You want to start the process of signing up?
Guys, don't.
Were those bisexual finger guns?
You don't know me.
Is this something you gotta tell me?
You don't know me.
For the record, if you are bisexual, that's totally valid and chill. As long as you love me.
How could I
Aww. Our timing was off. All right, so we're going to go ahead and sign off, get dinner, get drinks. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for listening to me ramble about the Bible. I do it a lot.
I've learned a lot about the Bible because of Miss Madeline.
For a pagan, I talk about the Bible so much. Like, for someone who doesn't consider it to be my personal holy scripture, like, I do a lot of deep diving into it.
You are also in divinity school.
I am in divinity school.
You kind of have to.
I kind of have to. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for participating. I had fun. Y'all, this really filled me with energy because, like, literally before I hopped on, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna take a nap. I'm tired. And now I'm like, yeah, let's go. So I've had a really good time. Thank you for joining. Yeah. Also, stay tuned for a video that's coming sometime this month. I said it on camera now, so I have to follow through. All right. Bye.